Did you know that over 17 million people worldwide suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome, a condition that is often misunderstood and misdiagnosed? It's a staggering number, isn't it? Yet it's a reality we cannot ignore. Chronic fatigue syndrome, or CFS, is an invisible nemesis that affects people in every corner of the globe. It's a condition that doesn't discriminate, impacting people of all ages, genders, and walks of life. But what is it really? At its core, CFS is a complex disorder characterized by extreme fatigue that can't be explained by any underlying medical condition. The fatigue may worsen with physical or mental activity, but doesn't improve with rest. Sounds simple, right? But it's far from it. CFS is often misdiagnosed because it shares symptoms with many other illnesses. It's not just about feeling tired. It's an all-encompassing exhaustion that can make the most mundane tasks feel like climbing Mount Everest. And here's where it gets even more interesting. In the wake of the global COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen an increase in cases of CFS, particularly among those who've recovered from the virus. This has led to a new term, Long Covid, where symptoms persist long after recovery. The link between chronic fatigue syndrome and COVID-19 is not yet fully understood, but it's a connection that underscores the importance of understanding this elusive condition. It's not just about the 17 million diagnosed cases, it's about the countless others who may be suffering in silence without a diagnosis or a clear path forward. Our journey today is about shedding light on this invisible nemesis, about understanding its complexities, its impact, and the mechanisms that drive it. We'll delve into the scientific research, the personal stories, and the potential pathways to better manage and perhaps one day conquer chronic fatigue syndrome. As we delve deeper into this topic, feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments section below. The journey to understanding begins with a single step, and today we take that step together. So, what exactly is chronic fatigue? It's not just feeling tired after a long day or a poor night's sleep. Chronic fatigue, often referred to as chronic fatigue syndrome or myalgic encephalomyelitis, is a complex, long-term illness that affects multiple body systems. It's like carrying around a 100-pound weight on your shoulders all day, every day. It's not simply about feeling worn out, it's about feeling perpetually drained, physically and mentally, without any apparent reason or relief. Now let's break this down a bit further. We've all experienced tiredness, right? After a long workday, a strenuous workout, or a poor night's sleep. But usually a good rest or a refreshing sleep helps us bounce back. In chronic fatigue, though, it's different. The tiredness is unrelenting. It lingers on, often for 6 months or more, and it's not relieved by rest. It's a kind of fatigue that's deep-seated, that seeps into your bones and wraps itself around your everyday life like a persistent fog. The symptoms of chronic fatigue can be diverse and vary from person to person. They can include unrefreshing sleep, difficulties with memory and concentration, muscle or joint pain, headaches, sore throat, and even flu-like symptoms. It's not just about being tired, it's about dealing with a cluster of symptoms that can significantly impair your ability to function normally. And let's not forget the mental toll. Chronic fatigue can lead to feelings of isolation, frustration, and depression. It can affect your relationships, your work, your hobbies, and your overall well-being. It's like living in a state of constant low battery, where even the simplest tasks can feel like climbing a mountain. So when we talk about chronic fatigue, we're not just talking about being tired. We're talking about an ongoing battle with a condition that can deeply impact one's life, a condition that is often misunderstood or overlooked. Understanding what chronic fatigue is the first step towards acknowledging and addressing this condition. It's not just about feeling tired. The mechanisms underlying chronic fatigue are complex and multifaceted. So let's dive in, shall we? Imagine for a moment your body as a bustling city. Now, chronic fatigue is akin to a citywide power outage. It's not that the power plant is not working, but rather the distribution system is in a bit of a muddle. This is what happens in our bodies at a cellular level. The energy factories of our cells, called mitochondria, are functioning, yet the energy they produce doesn't seem to reach where it's needed. This miscommunication in energy metabolism is one of the key players in chronic fatigue. But wait, there's more. Just like a city, our bodies have a dedicated security force, the immune system. It's always on the lookout for foreign invaders ready to battle. However, sometimes the immune system gets a bit too enthusiastic and starts seeing threats where there are none. This is called chronic inflammation, and it's like having the city's security force on high alert all the time. It causes a constant drain on the body's resources, leaving you feeling drained and fatigued. And lastly, let's not forget the city's command center, the brain. Neurological factors play a significant role in chronic fatigue. Our brains are the control centers, sending signals throughout the body. But in chronic fatigue, the signals can get mixed up, causing the body to react inappropriately. It's like the command center sending out false alarms, causing unnecessary panic and exhaustion. So you see, chronic fatigue is not just about being tired. It's a complex interplay of energy metabolism, immune response, and neurological factors. Understanding these underlying mechanisms is like piecing together a puzzle. Each piece brings us one step closer to seeing the complete picture. Unraveling these mechanisms can lead to better diagnostic tools and treatments for chronic fatigue. And with that, we've reached the end of this segment. Let's continue our exploration in the next scene. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought light to a surprising connection: the link between chronic fatigue and long COVID. Now, what's this unexpected connection all about? Well, it's been observed that many survivors of the COVID-19 virus continue to face debilitating symptoms long after their initial recovery. This phenomenon, often termed as long COVID, bears a striking resemblance to the symptoms experienced by those suffering from chronic fatigue. Imagine being in a constant state of exhaustion where even the simplest of tasks feels like climbing a mountain. That's what chronic fatigue feels like. Now take that situation and add the lingering effects of a virus that has impacted millions globally. That's where the intersection of chronic fatigue and long COVID lies. It's not just about feeling constantly tired. It's about dealing with unrelenting fatigue, brain fog, and a myriad of other symptoms that persist for weeks, sometimes months, after the acute phase of the COVID-19 infection has passed. In many ways, it mirrors the relentless nature of chronic fatigue. But here's the catch. The medical community is still grappling to fully understand both these conditions. While chronic fatigue has been a subject of research for decades, long COVID is a relatively new term in our lexicon. It's like trying to decipher two complex puzzles and suddenly realizing they might be pieces of the same picture. The overlap between these two conditions has opened up a new realm of research. Scientists are now looking at chronic fatigue through the lens of long COVID and vice versa. The hope is that by understanding one, we can shed light on the other. This unexpected connection underscores the need for a comprehensive understanding of chronic fatigue. It's a reminder that while we've made strides in our understanding of health and disease, there's still so much left to uncover. And who knows? The answers we're seeking about chronic fatigue may well lie in our understanding of long COVID. And that, my friends, is the beauty of science. It's an ongoing journey of discovery. While the journey dealing with chronic fatigue can be challenging, remember, you're not alone. As we navigate the uncharted waters of our lives, chronic fatigue can sometimes feel like an anchor weighing us down. But remember, it's okay to seek help. It's okay to admit that you're not feeling your best. Medical professionals, from your primary care physician to specialists in fatigue and post-viral syndromes, are there to support you. They can help identify any underlying conditions, provide guidance on managing symptoms, and offer treatment options tailored to your specific needs. It's a collaborative effort, a partnership, where your voice and your experiences matter. But medical help is just one piece of the puzzle. Self-care and psychotherapy play a crucial role too. This isn't about spa days or indulgent treats, although those may also help. Self-care is about listening to your body, recognizing your limits, and taking steps to nourish your physical and mental well-being. It's about sleep hygiene, balanced nutrition, gentle exercise, and managing stress. It's about finding what works for you, what makes you feel good, and incorporating that into your everyday life. Further, it is crucial to find ways how to deal with the mental challenge associated with chronic fatigue. Cognitive behavioral therapy may help you design your life with a high quality of life despite chronic fatigue. And then there's the power of community. Building a supportive network of family, friends, or fellow chronic fatigue warriors can make a world of difference. These are the people who understand your journey, who empathize with your struggles, and who celebrate your victories no matter how small. They're there to lend an ear, offer advice, or simply sit with you in silence when words fail. Encourage yourself to share your own experiences and tips, fostering a supportive community. Every story shared is a beacon of hope, a testament to resilience, and a step towards breaking the stigma surrounding chronic fatigue. So while the road may be long and the journey tough, remember that you're not traversing this path alone. There are resources available, people who care, and a community that understands. Together, we can shed light on chronic fatigue, paving the way for better understanding, diagnosis, and treatment.